In November 2025, the Brazilian central bank officially liquidated Banco Master, triggering an immediate systemic shock within the national financial architecture. Investigations following the collapse exposed a yawning 12 billion real deficit hidden within the bank's books. This shortfall accrued during a period of relative market stability, independent of standard credit risk failures or external economic downturns. This is Avenida Faria Lima in Sao Paulo. While political headlines often focus on the capital in Brasilia, the actual engineering of this crisis took place here, at the heart of the private financial market. Analysts describe a mechanism that sustained a multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scheme through a closed-loop accounting architecture. This shadow banking infrastructure served a dual purpose. It processed misappropriated public pension funds, while simultaneously laundering hundreds of millions for narco-terrorist cartels. Reverse engineering this specific mechanism reveals the precise vulnerabilities created when a banking system is intentionally stripped of its regulatory guardrails. The mechanical failure of Banco Master begins with its liability structure. Starting in 2019, the bank utilized aggressive marketing to offer bank deposit certificates, or CDBs, with promised returns as high as 180% of the CDI interest rate. This chart compares standard interbank lending yields against the rates offered by Master. The 180% promised effectively tripled the interest expenses typical of a conservative institution. Generating the capital required to service these rates is mathematically unsustainable through legitimate, risk-adjusted lending. The high-yield offers functioned as a relentless vacuum, pulling in vast quantities of private and institutional capital at an accelerating, compounding speed. Survival for such a system depends entirely on a continuous, exponential inflow of fresh investor capital to fulfill the interest obligations of previous creditors. This impossibly high yield provided the necessary fuel for a synthetic balance sheet. Maintaining this illusion required the bank to hide its escalating multi-billion real deficit from external auditors. They achieved this through a circular balance sheet mechanism involving third-party asset managers. This technical diagram maps the horizontal loop used to mask the bank's true health. It relies on a network of shell companies and a partner firm called Reais Investimentos. First, Banco Master issued massive loans to a network of front companies established specifically for this purpose. These front companies immediately redirected the borrowed capital into specialized investment funds managed by Reais Investimentos. Reais utilized this injected capital to purchase worthless, long-depreciated historical certificates, junk assets from defunct banks, at artificially set prices. Through deliberate mark-to-market manipulation, these dead assets were assigned astronomically inflated values on paper. Finally, these artificially inflated funds were recorded back onto Banco Master's balance sheet as solid, liquid collateral. The system coded decayed, toxic junk assets in a layer of fabricated paper value to present an image of robust equity. This closed-loop logic neutralized the massive CDB liabilities on the ledger, successfully converting a catastrophic operational deficit into a fully compliant spreadsheet. Accounting tricks can mask a deficit, but they cannot provide the physical cash needed to service real-world withdrawals. The bank secured long-term capital by targeting public sector pension funds managed by state and local administrators. This is Rio de Janeiro. In 2025, investigators tracked the theft of billions in reserves intended for the state's retired workers. Political figures reportedly bypassed conservative investment guidelines to funnel 3.7 billion reals from the Rio Previdencia pension fund directly into Master's failing securities. Federal police investigations in late 2025 exposed an even more dangerous source of physical liquidity. During Operation Compliance Zero, federal investigators analyzed the true function of the RIG asset management layer. They found that the PCC and Red Command cartels used this exact same infrastructure to process hundreds of millions in narco-terrorism profits. This flow diagram shows how public pension money and illicit cartel cash mixed within the same nested shell funds. Within this shadow banking architecture, plundered retirement savings and drug money functioned as identical sources of liquidity. This shadow network operated for 6 years, despite the oversight of the Brazilian central bank. Understanding this failure requires an analysis of the government's economic leadership during that era. This is Paulo Guedes, a co-founder of an investment bank, with the technical expertise to immediately identify the anomalies in Master's 180% interest model. Together with Central Bank President Roberto Campos Neto, the administration implemented a policy of regulatory forbearance, avoiding tough intervention in favor of dialogue. This leniency was a direct application of a radical libertarian agenda that viewed state oversight as an obstacle to market development. This chart correlates a 40% reduction in central bank forensic staffing with the bank's exponential artificial growth. The government deliberately blinded its own observation network to prioritize the expansion of disruptive financial players, ensuring a systemic failure. This was the logical outcome of an ideology that sacrificed the security of millions of citizens to protect the unhindered flow of capital. From the shadow banks, the laundered capital moved into the personal and political spheres of the elite. This section of the network map tracks the final destination, the PO party and the Bolsonaro clan's financing operations. Intercepted audio linked bank executives directly to a demand for millions of reals to finance Senator Flavio Bolsonaro's propaganda film, Dark Horse. The senator initially denied any connection to the bank, though he later issued contradictory statements after the evidence became public. Additional investigations track Master's front companies to the financing of Eduardo Bolsonaro's political operations and lifestyle during his self-selected exile in the United States. The national retirement savings of over 1 million citizens effectively funded aggressive political campaigns launched from abroad. This intricate web of deception finally shattered when the mathematical reality of the Ponzi scheme could no longer be sustained. The Banco Master case provides a definitive lesson. Stripping state oversight in the name of a market utopia creates a protected, state-sanctioned pipeline between public coffers and organized crime.